Hi, everyone. Happy Earth Day. My name is Suzanne Hume. I'm the Educational Director and founder of CleanEarthForKids.org, a nonprofit working to protect clean air and water, get those pesticides out of parks and cities, protect our public lands, and work for racial, social, climate, and environmental justice. I'm joined tonight by some amazing people. I'm so excited for you to hear from them and what they're doing. So thanks again for being here. And also, if you're not receiving our email, make sure that our weekly email, make sure that you subscribe. Our fantastic Earth Day video with these guys talking will be out soon. Also, tomorrow, Friday, feel free to hop on with us, Cleaning for Kids and the City of Encinitas, as we are doing EcoFest. So it will be from 12 to 12:15 tomorrow, Friday. And then Saturday, the video I just spoke about featuring these guys will be on and close it out for Earth Day. And that will be about 1 o'clock on Saturday, Pacific time. And information is in the email I was telling you about. So if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out to me. So again, I'm Suzanne, and my email is s@cleanearthforkids.org. I'd like to start by introducing Leanna.
Thank you, Suzanne. Hi, everyone, and happy Earth Day. I'm Leanna. I'm with Team 1, and I'm on the youth board, and we're really excited to spend Earth Day with you guys in this panel tonight. So at Clean for Kids, we have 6 teams: climate action, protecting public lands, planting trees, protecting clean air and water, and so many other things, as well as racial, social, climate, and environmental justice are vital to everything that we do. So up here I is an action plan. So one of the best ways to take climate action is to urge your city or your school district or even your state to make a climate action plan. So we have examples of a climate action plan on our website at cleanforkids.org. And an example of an action plan would list setting 100% renewable energy as a goal, planting trees and gardens around the city or your school, protecting clean air through things like no idling policies, green transportation options through like electric buses and so much more. So it's really vital for protecting our communities and our future, and it's a great way to advocate for local legislation. So we're glad that you're here tonight, and thank you for all your support. And yes, this whole panel tonight is about celebrating Earth Day. And one thing that you can do is community service at Clean for Kids. We have a lot of students, a lot of opportunities for students to learn community service by taking notes, creating infographics, and so much more. And you're welcome to visit our website for more information, as well as our YouTube channel. We also have many contests and challenges. If you go to our contest page at cleanforkids.org, you'll see a variety of contests like art, music, poetry, writing, projects, and so much more. And if you like to write poetry, we also have contests for you for that. And you can check out our cleanforkids.org Team 5 and our YouTube channel for more information. And here's Anna.
Yes, thank you, Leanna. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Happy Earth Day. I'm Anna. I work with teams 3 and 5 and also working on assisting with some projects. So this evening, I'm going to talk about the Today Is contest, which is a way to show your art, music, videos, research reports, and many more so that you could help teach us about what important things happened on that day. So if any submissions come in for the month of April, where we have like as today, Earth Day, World Health Day, National Gardening Day, and Tell a Story Day. We are very excited to receive your submissions and are excited to learn more about what is going on in April. So next, I'm gonna about the These Are the Hands contest, which is open to everyone of all ages. We hope that you will join us in making a drawing and decorating a hand to recognize, honor, and lift up people working for change and to make life better for others. Everyone is encouraged to participate and honor someone making a positive difference in their school, community, city, state, or in our world. You can draw and decorate a picture of a hand and add symbols, words, and pictures to honor their work. And next, I would like to congratulate Alicia, who won the Smoking is Not Coping contest. And you can see her video clip on Team 3, Smoking Hurts Lungs. So next, I'll be introducing the Protect What You Love contest, which you can participate in by sending a picture of or drawing of what you love and why we should protect it. Let's work together to protect our forests, national parks and wildlife, clean water, clean air, oceans, rivers, streams, and our health. You can take a picture or draw or write about your favorite animal or place and why we should protect it. We can then post it on our website and social media to bring awareness and work to protect nature and environment. And we also have another contest called Picture It, which I believe you can go ahead and take a picture of a butterfly, a bird, flower, or any nature that you've encountered and tag at Clean Earth for Kids, and we can then share it on Instagram stories, Facebook, and Twitter. And please email your contest entries to picture@cleanearthforkids.org. So some very exciting contests we have going on. Next, I'll be talking about a little bit about pesticides. So as we've discussed in previous panel discussions, the use of toxic pesticides are detrimental to our health. And some of the risks associated with pesticides include skin, eye, lung irritation, hormone disruption, birth defects, and reproductive effects. And to protect our food, water, people, and wildlife, we can stop using synthetic fertilizers and pesticides. We can go organic or natural, use compost, and to protect our youth, we need to work hard to be pesticide free. And some exciting examples of some school districts that are eliminating the use of pesticides would include the Glida School District and Oak Park. You can see their examples of their school district IPMs on our website, cleanearthforkids.org, Team 5, page Stop Toxic Chemicals and Pesticides, and I can put that link in the chat. And so, but now I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on what exactly an IPM is. So an IPM is an important, as it documents the methods that may be used on pests. An IPM is a tiered ecosystem-based strategy that focuses on long-term prevention of pests without using chemicals. So it uses a combination of techniques such as prevention, cultural controls, biological controls, physical mechanical controls, and non-toxic substances. So excited to work together to get pesticides off of our school campuses, and we would love for everyone to join us. And next, I would like to reintroduce Leanna.
Thank you, Anna. So I'm just going to briefly talk a little bit about tarping, which kind of relates to pesticides in that a lot of plant species that aren't supposed to be in a certain area are called invasive plant species. And a lot of the time, pesticides and like herbicides are used to protect the native plant species from these invasive plant species as they kind of take over their natural habitat. But we want to, of course, avoid pesticides at all costs. So an alternative that I had the pleasure of working on is tarping. And it's really, really simple. It's a process in which you use this black tarp. It's reusable. It is plastic, but it is reusable. And you use it many times over and over again. And you set up this tarp for about 4 months, depending on how tricky the invasive species is. We particularly worked with a thing called Algerian sea lavender. So it's really, really tricky type of plant. But you basically put the tarp over the plant species and you make sure you secure the tarp, and the sun basically will go through the tarp and it'll trap heat and it'll almost kind of like heat the invasive species away, and while allowing the native plant species to thrive. And this project was about a 10-year span project. I was on it for about a year, and we had really, really great results, and it works. And it's an amazing alternative that I think more people need to know about. And it was a really great experience and fun, working with other people in the community to tarp and stuff. So if anyone ever wants to know information, feel free to comment in the chat and I'll try to give you more information. But yeah, just more information to know about alternatives to pesticides, and know that we can have, normal plant species and regulations and stuff without pesticides. And now I will pass it to Darren to talk about no idling.
Thank you. So hello, I'm Darren from Clean Earth for Kids. And here we have the no idling contest for K through 12 students. So we would like students to make no idling signs to remind people to turn off their engines when they are parked. And we would also like cities to add no idling policy to their climate action plan to allow cities to hang no idling signs with children's art. Excuse me. So our friend Hannah wrote a no idling essay about reasons why we should turn off our cars. And the basic reason is because car exhaust is pretty toxic, and air pollution and car exhaust from idling is really bad for you. If you want to know a little bit more about the details, um, some of the chemicals that get emitted from car exhaust include nitrous oxide and ozone. And from my chemistry class, those chemicals can go enter your respiratory pathway, and they could cause problems in your body. So air pollution is harmful to people and even bees and insects, birds and animals that pollinate our plants and crops. And so it is the job of school districts to create and pass policies that protect the children's health. To learn more, please go to the new idling page on our cleanearthforkids.org website. And now here's Leanna to talk about rollbacks.
Thank you, Darren. So in previous panel discussions, we've talked about the rollbacks that occurred underneath the Trump administration. These were the undoing of environmental protections. But fortunately, on January 20, 2021, President Biden signed an executive order to start undoing what the Trump administration has done to the environment. The order froze all pending regulations for 60 days and told all agencies to review every single thing that happened, all of the rollbacks. And since then, a lot of Trump era rules and rollbacks have been undone, and thankfully, more are coming as well. A few examples include things like the offshore oil and gas, which was a 5-year leasing program that was revoked March 25th. Another one was the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. Another one was the cross-state air pollution rule, clean power plans, the offshore energy strategies, certification for pesticide applications, and so many more that have luckily been reversed, and we're starting to see more progress. So that is amazing news, especially on this Earth Day, to know that progress is being made and a lot of environmental protections are being restored. Another great thing I'd like to talk about is what's called the Thrive Agenda. It stands for Transform, Heal, and Renew by investing in a vibrant economy. This agenda creates about 16 million jobs to help build a clean, healthy, and just economy. And it's supported by over 250 unions, racial justice groups, and about 100 members of Congress. Agendas like this are really important when we think about the future and what direction we want to go in terms of energy, and as well as transforming those jobs from the fossil fuel industry into the clean energy industry. So it's amazing to have things like this on the go. So I will now pass it on to.
Yes, thank you, Leanna. So next I'm going to talk a little bit about a feature on the American Lung Association's website, which you can use to find grades and rankings for the cleanest or most polluted places to live. So one of the cool features is that you can actually select a location to view the state of the air in your county, state, and or metropolitan statistical area. So as noted on the front page of that feature is that the American Lung Association has been analyzing data from official air quality monitors for 22 years. So as stated, knowledge is power, and knowing the state of the air quality is going to be really important to make sure that we're making the right decisions to ensure clean air for everyone. And next here is Darren to talk about air pollution.
Thank you. So we need to reduce sources of air pollution, and some of the sources are from wood smoke, fossil fuel burning, and the combustion of other gases. So some of the gases that are produced are greenhouse gases, which ultimately warm the planet, and others are form particles emitted from the combustion of fossil fuels and burning wood, which release toxic chemicals into the air that are harmful to our respiratory system. So on the short term, it affects individuals particularly with asthma and respiratory problems, However, there are also a lot of long-term effects that can negatively impact our health as well. So these effects can usually be seen with the smog in our cities, and so let's work together to reduce these greenhouse gases as well as toxic particles that affect our health and environment. And I believe next is Leanna.
So I have a few more things to talk about that are good news, and we show that we have a lot of progress happening. One thing is this cool article that came out, and it talked about the new renewable energy capacity that we're going to start seeing as a lot of things are going great. So we have like a lot of costs are falling, a lot of clean tech markets are growing, and a lot of people are seeing a lot more benefits to the energy transition from fossil fuels to renewable energy. And with this type of trend, it's really important, and it's really great because a lot of the time, a lot of when we outweigh like benefits and cons, like pros and cons and stuff, a lot of people we're still on the fence about transforming our energy from fossil fuels to renewable energy. So seeing more and more support for clean energy and renewable energy is really, really important. Another cool thing I want to talk about is the reintroduction of the Green New Deal. So the Green New Deal was introduced in 2019 by Ed Markey and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or AOC, as she's most commonly known. And it pushes for 100% renewable energy goals, lots of clean energy jobs, as we've been talking about a lot this panel, and so many really great things that will basically transform our country, much like the original New Deal back in the 1900s. Um, and unfortunately, it wasn't passed when it was first introduced, but they're reintroducing it now. And with these new trends of more in favor of like renewable energy and more people talking about the climate crisis and environmental justice, we hope that the Green New Deal will be taken in a more positive light this time around. So it's really exciting that they're still fighting for this really, really amazing legislation. I also have a really cool thing to talk about, and it's like the Surfrider plastic ordnance map. It's constantly changing. There's a lot of different versions of this map, but this is the version I decided to show. And this talks about like a really common thing, which is like plastic bag laws around the country and where they differ. And you can look for your own state and see what kind of happens here, like what type of laws are in place. Are they trying to ban plastic bags in stores? Are they trying to put costs on them, like the 10 cents or 50 cents cost that I've seen in some other states, and so much more information. And that's all through Surfrider. So if you just Google Surfrider plastic ordnance map, a lot of different images will come up, a lot of different links, and most of them are pretty great resources to learn more about that.
And can you please tell us what a pollinator is?
A pollinator is an animal that carries pollen, which is a sticky substance that helps plants reproduce from plant to plant. Some examples of pollinators are bees, butterflies, and bats.
Thank you, Shan. Can you tell us about pollen?
Pollen is a sticky powder. You may have noticed it on your hands when you have picked flowers. Pollen helps plants reproduce and make more plants.
Why is pollination important?
Without pollination, many species of plants would not be able to reproduce. This is a problem for us because we depend on plants for countless things. We depend on pollination for food. Over 70% of the top global food crops rely on pollination, especially fruits, vegetables, grains, and nuts. That includes things like almonds, apples, and blueberries. One out of every 3 bites of food is because of pollinators. Pollinators are also essential to our ecosystems and economy. Pollinators add $217 billion to the global economy. In the US, honeybees alone add $1.2 to $5.4 billion. Also, pollination is essential for production of many medicines.
How are flowers, plants, and some trees pollinated?
The pollen sticks to their legs and bodies, and so when the pollinators fly or walk, pollen is spread to plants, flowers, and trees.
Can you please tell us about butterflies?
There are around 15,000 to 20,000 species of butterflies, and they are some of the most beautiful animals on the earth. Butterflies feed off of nectars and flowers, which makes them great pollinators because they pick up pollen from flowers which they feed on, which they spread to other plants.
Cheyenne, can you please tell us about moths?
Moths are insects within the same family as butterflies, but moths outnumber butterflies 9 to 1. There are around 160,000 species globally and 1,000 species in the US. You can usually tell the difference between moths and butterflies by the shapes of their antennae. Butterflies have club-shaped antennae, and moths tend to have more feather and thread-like antennae. However, moths are great pollinators, just like butterflies, because they also feed off nectar and pick up pollen, which is spread to other plants.
Thank you, Shan. Can you please tell us about the endangered moths and butterflies?
Currently, in the United States, there are over 30 endangered moths and butterfly species.
Can you please tell us more about butterflies that are endangered?
Some of the butterflies that are endangered include the L. Glaucus swallowtail butterfly and the iconic monarch butterfly. You can protect what you love. You can sign our petitions to stop toxic pesticides at school and on city and country lands. You can draw pictures or do art or stream projects to bring awareness. You can also write songs, letters, and make video clips. Your work makes a difference. You can help make a change. Knowledge is power, and we need to learn all we can.
Thank you, Shan. Can you please tell us about bats?
Bats are the only mammals that fly for long periods of time. There are about 1,000 different species of bats, and all of them are nocturnal or active at night. Many live in caves and eat insects and or fruits and vegetables. They are yet another example of important pollinators because they pick up pollen when they grass, fruit, or drink nectar from flowers and pass it on to other plants.
Shan, can you please tell us about birds?
Birds are vertebrates or animals with a backbone with definable characteristics. Their characteristics include feathers and tough beak and the fact that they lay eggs with a hard shell. You may come in contact with birds every day, but the picture on the slide are of hummingbirds. These and most other birds serve as an important pollinators because they either drink nectar from flowers or eat seeds.
What can you tell us about small rodents that carry pollen?
Bees tend to be known as the largest as pollinators essential to the survival of plant species, but lizards, mice, bats, and other important pollinators as well. A new study finds that fruit and seed production drops an average of 63% when vertebrates, but not insects, are kept away from plants. This means that protecting vertebrates is very important.
Cheyenne, how many types of bees are there?
There are over 20,000 different types of bees in the world. Bees are the most well-known pollinator. Of all the pollinators, honeybees are the most successful because they're really smart and can learn. Honeybees also get their pollen from any plant. They are not picky about which plant they pollinate. They even will go to trees for pollen.
Thanks, Cheyenne. Did you know that there are about 1,000 tree species in North America? That sounds like a lot, but there are between 40,000 to 50,000 species of trees in the world.
Wow, that's so many. Many types of trees. What is a tree city?
Thanks for asking, Shan. The Tree City USA program has been helping add trees to places around America since 1976.
That's great, Michael. How many places are in the program?
More than 3,400 towns and cities have made the commitment to becoming a Tree USA.
Michael, how many are in California?
There are 146 Tree USA communities in California, and 50% of Californians live in a tree city or town.
That's great. How many trees were planted in those communities?
Over 130,000 trees were planted in those 146 towns and cities.
Do you live in a tree city?
We don't. Here in North County, San Diego, only Carlsbad and Encinitas are tree cities. It would be great if Oceanside, Vista, San Marcos, and Escondido were tree cities too.
How can we become a tree city?
It's not that hard. Towns or cities just need four things before they apply. A tree a tree board or department. 2, a tree care ordinance. 3, minimum forestry annual budget of $2 per resident. 4, Arbor Day observance and proclamation every year.
That doesn't sound very hard. Is there anyone to help?
Yes, there is. A great place to start is to contact the Urban and Community Forestry Coordinator in San Diego, that is Lynette. Anna, can you put her contact information in the chat?
Yes.
Is there anyone else?
Yes, there is. There are 4 groups in here in California that can work.
Yes, I can.
I would be happy to do that. Here are some trees that are very common in the US. The American basswood is a big tree that gives lots of shade. It can grow 60 to 80 feet tall and has heart-shaped leaves. It can be found in the Midwest. It blooms in June with little white flowers. Bees love these flowers. American elms can grow to be 100 tall, are known for being just as wide. It has gray bark and elliptical green leaves that have toothy edges.
Do birds and animals live in the elm trees?
Yes, they do. Lots of animals and birds, like eagles, ospreys, buried wolves, bats, and flying squirrels really like to live in elm trees. The common hackberry is often found on streets because they don't need much water and do well in cities. They are one of the best trees for wildlife because of their berries. Birds and butterflies really like the taste.
So thank you guys. That was an excellent presentation. So excited. About the trees, I would like to say we're really excited to do planting of trees in Oceanside and Vista Unified School Districts. We're excited about that. We have the grant through CARB, California Air Resources Board. We'd like to get more grants, and we'd love help writing these grants so we can, do all of this great stuff. So we're going to be putting in our no idling signs and planting trees in both Vista Unified and Oceanside Unified and other school districts as well, in other cities. And in terms of the number of trees planted, one thing that's really important to know is that in their climate action plans, cities will state how many trees they're going to plant for that year. Well, here's the thing. Because of development, lots of times trees are taken out, right? Or people in maybe neighborhoods or even on streets. So even though they say, like Oceanside made it a commitment last year or the year before to put in 200 trees, well, that's not very many trees when you think about how many trees are actually going out. So it can be a percentage, etc. So yes, thank you so much for sharing those great resources. We're excited. The city of Encinitas next Friday will be celebrating Arbor Day. And with that, they will be planting different trees and be putting them in the ground. Last year, we helped before COVID. We helped with the tree planting in the city of Vista. So we really need to get going and get tree cities. Thank you so much for pointing out that San Marcos, Vista, Oceanside are not tree cities. Jay Kloppenstein on our board, who we're so proud of, has really been instrumental. Carlsbad is a tree city, and so is Encinitas. And so we were so excited to see the trees that Jay and his students planted years ago that are now very tall and beautiful and amazing. So you guys will leave a legacy as well to help plant all these trees. And we're like, I helped plant that tree. So awesome. So would like to turn it over to you, Leanna. And if you can, so we stopped the share, so you guys can, mix it up a bit. So just let us know how the questions that you'd like to ask, and they'll be ready about their goals, the things that they'd like to see for Earth Day, what inspires them, or however that looks. So Leanna will figure out how she's going to ask you guys some questions. So thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. In the spirit of Earth Day, I guess we can ask a few questions just so everyone that's watching can get to know everyone a little bit better and what their goals are, what inspires them, and so much more. So since it is Earth Day, I will kind of go around and ask what Earth Day means to everyone. And I could start with Anna, if you'd like.
Yeah. So I'm very excited that today is Earth Day. What Earth Day means to me is I think importantly, for me, expressing gratitude for what the earth has given us. I think sometimes it's easy to take for granted the water, the food that we are provided, the home, like the beautiful nature and the scenery. Not just like to look at, but also to like to live in and be within and present with. I would like to take the day to like just honor all the good that it's done for us. I think it does not get enough credit for all like it does provide for us. And I am very like grateful for Clean Earth for Kids that we can take this time to honor not just our earth, but also the people working hard to ensure that like we have our earth to live on for 7 generations and even longer, as Suzanne says. So yeah, and I'm happy also to be able to share Earth Day with the fellow interns and all of the attendees of this panel discussion. I think it's really wonderful and eye-opening to have this space where we can talk about the important actions, but also the important like legislation and how important it is to make sure that these changes are made at that federal and state level. But that doesn't go to say that there are also actions that we can take as individuals. It only takes one person, and I'm happy that we can all come together and be that for our Earth. So yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll pass it to Darren.
Yeah, so Earth Day for me means a lot of things. Personally, it's appreciating what Earth does for us, what it provides, and it's also acknowledging that we are part of nature. It's not like we're anywhere above or we don't have any impacts, because as we can see with concentrations of carbon dioxide and other gases, climate change is real and it's a big concern. On the other side, I also see Earth Day as a very historic moment, because it's kind of celebrating an event that happened in 1970 when people protested for climate change. And we have, I think it was the EPA and some acts that were made because of those protests. So I think I'd like to think about like those people who kind of started it all.
This means so much to me that when I was making the video, right? Because I thought, yes, I need to make a video clip as well. And everyone here, and obviously our fabulous people in attendance, welcome to add to that video that we'll be sharing with the City of Encinitas on Saturday at 1 and in an email very soon after it uploads. But I couldn't get through what I was going to say without having tears, because Earth Day means so much to me. It means clean air, clean, safe air. As someone who was poisoned by pesticides and has had my lungs burned out, clean air is everything, right? If you can't breathe, you can't do very much. So clean air means fighting for environmental justice, racial justice, social justice, climate justice. So important. We've got to get these factories, we need the regulations, we need to bring awareness, and we need to invest, as Leanna said, and as John Williams and all of us say, we need to divest from fossil fuels and, hoping people get reinvested in renewable energy. We follow Mark C. Jacobson on Twitter. If you don't, please do. He's a professor at Stanford. He and Michael Mann, who's written a really excellent book, and 100 of the top people working in renewable energy just give there's just so much promise for the future. So today, Earth Day, is really special because I get to share it with these amazing people that mean so much to me. Just the closest people that I feel in the world are here and working on this cause. So thank you so much. So I will pass it to John Williams.
Hey, great. Thanks so much, Suzanne. Yeah, so I think what Earth Day means to me is appreciating that, this isn't our Earth. We're here just like the birds, the bees, all the other people are here. Yet I think we have a unique responsibility to it, because with great power comes great responsibility. A lot of other like species can't destroy the way that we can destroy the world. I mean, if you think about nuclear weapons, what we can do. So I think it's both a humbling day in the fact that we have such a duty to the earth. Not only, and then I think it's also really cool how it's sort of like reciprocal. So if we help out the earth, it helps out us as well. And although sometimes we forget that, for example, in the short term, making a company to dig out fossil fuels or kill elephants is good for you in the short term, but really it's not good for you in the long term. And I think it also makes me recognize, that try and reconsider that long-term gain of, being cooperative with the earth as much as possible.
I like Earth Day because it today represent the pretty world that we live in, and all the animals and all the creations that we have, and that we should be grateful for the clean air that we do have. That we don't have perfect clean air, but we at least have air clean enough that we can live here. And so Earth Day, I just like how I like the ocean, I like all the animals, the flowers, the trees.
I guess then I'll share what Earth Day means to me. I thought a lot about this question when I was getting ready to film a video for Happy Earth Day. And then I think I was able to kind of divide it into like 2 words. Like it meant reflect and rejuvenate. So reflection meant for me is like looking at the foundations of Earth Day and the environmental movement as a whole, recognizing the people that laid down the foundations for us to start today. Reflecting what it really means to be an environmentalist, what it means to care about the earth, but also the people on it, and finding that balance for everything, and just recognizing all the amazing things that we have done so far. It's not perfect yet, but it's progress, and progress is important. And I think that's really important to reflect on Earth Day every year, just to recognize all the great things we've done so far. Even if people feel burnt out or the climate anxiety gets to some people, it's important to recognize that there are solutions, and we're working really hard to meet those solutions. And also rejuvenation, take this time to, relax, get inspired again, look at all the amazing organizers and fellow people around you that are doing the hard work too, and recognize that, you're not alone in this battle, and that there's a lot of great things to work on, a lot of hard work to do, but it's worth it, and it's worth it for our future. And so I think taking today to reflect and rejuvenate is what Earth Day means to me. So I guess you can choose to answer like one of them or both of them, but I guess the questions I have for you guys are, what are you currently working on, or what are you excited to be working on, and what inspires you? And feel free to answer either one or both. And we can start with Darren this time.
Right now, I am very interested in, I think it's a couple of things, but the main things I'd like to work on is air pollution and climate change in general, because one of the classes I'm taking on right now is about environmental sciences. And in particular, it focuses on kind of like the reasons why we have climate change. So a lot of studies done on concentrations of different gases and ways that we can kind of like change and redirect our paths. So
Yes, thank you. So we're currently working on ensuring that we can take on some additional interns and like get some new faces, and hopefully also maybe some like new ideas. And that would be really awesome to also share all that we know with other interns who are also interested in our mission. Also, one thing that I think would be amazing to incorporate is how maybe our interns like on their day to day are working to ensure that like we can lift and honor those around us, or also just like how we can better help our environment. One of my current interests is zero waste and eliminating plastics, and how I can better incorporate that into my daily life to ensure that I'm like limiting my carbon footprint as well. Next, I'll hand it off to John Williams.
Yeah, thanks. I think, well, what I'm working on recently, in addition to on Clean Earth for Kids, I'm actually taking time off from school, and I'm taking Chinese classes. So that's one thing I'm very interested in, is becoming fluent in Chinese. And although you may think, that's unrelated, actually, I think it's a very crucial part to solving climate change. Because if you think about it, and it's kind of humbling to think this, if I can get very good at Chinese and at English, I could, in theory, based on statistics of how many people speak Chinese, how many people speak English, communicate with more than half of the world, half of the world's population, and tell more than half of the world about the importance of climate change. So if I can develop that skill and communicate those things effectively, that's really huge for me. In addition, the US and China are the major players in the world. And if I can somehow, promote these ideas to both, I think that could really be a major player in the future, because it's not just the US's fight, it's also a global fight against climate change. So, yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah, sure. Okay. Well, that's actually really cool. I didn't know that. That's awesome. But that makes a lot of sense. I guess what I'm working on in terms of Clean for Kids, I'm also working on trying to get more interns, work on the application process and so much of stuff like that. And then working on some divestment videos so that way we can get teacher pensions and so much and more universities to divest and reinvest, hopefully. That's one thing that's really important in the grand scheme of renewable energy and moving away from fossil fuels. And I guess the thing that I'm working on in my day-to-day life, I think I recently moved to my campus, my university campus, and I've been seeing a lot more students around. And I think just learning more how, I guess I feel like there's a disconnect from students and the emotional and intersectional part of climate change, I think is interesting. So I think I want to learn more on how to educate my fellow peers about that in a way that's informative, but also gets them to try and educate other people in their life, and also making the connection between climate change and global health. I'm really interested in global health, and I do a lot of work with organizations like AMHU, which is American Mock World Health Organization. And making those connections is really important, especially during times of COVID, where people are paying more attention to global health more than ever. So being able to connect that and get more conversations going is really important to me. And I guess I'm just inspired by all my fellow peers all the time. So many youth are doing more than ever, I feel. And I think we have a lot of more resources to do so with the internet and just media in general. But with those resources comes responsibility as well, which is always important to keep in mind. But yeah, I'm just inspired by my fellow youth, and I'm really thankful that we're all here on Earth Day to celebrate and just educate more people, because education and empathy are the most important things. And I'm just grateful to be able to share that experience with you all. And I'm just going to pass on to Suzanne.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. It's almost 6:30. I really am, so grateful, and I love spending today with you and every day. So just love it. Thank you so much for your important work. So you guys feel free to hop off whenever. Obviously, you're always welcome to stay on, and I'm going to stay. I know Jay will be on with us, one of your biggest fans, right? Jay Koffenstein, our board member, and others. I think Marlo is here too, and so exciting. So anyway, we'll be able to talk with these people, and then we'll see you next week. Thank you so much. Have a great day, guys. Thank you.
Thank
Happy
you.
Earth Day. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Day.